Why, hello. Welcome back to another week. It is so good to be back. Now, for those that watched last week, you would have known that this wee little puppet had COVID. So I am feeling much better for those that are interested to know. But for those that already reached out, thank you. Love and support. Love it. It always helps with the recovery. Now, today we are going to be talking about social media scheduling tools. We don't have any special guests. It is just me. And I thought it was a chance for you and I to just talk about those little complicated things that, when it comes to social media and how we manage our content. Now, if you're anything like me, sometimes you're very good at planning and then sometimes you're just not. So today I wanted to touch on some social media scheduling tools. And the thing is that since scheduling tools came about, they have evolved so much. We've gone from having to use a third-party platform to now actually being able to use the tools that Facebook's giving us, and it's great. But I want to just dig a little bit deeper because everyone's needs are slightly different. Now, if you are looking at having a tool that you can use, you've really got to think about what is it that you want and what is it you're wanting to get out of it. Now, before we start, if you are watching this live, please, jump in, send us a comment, like, share, tag someone in. Maybe this is of interest to them. We are going to cover some topics on some platforms that may be of interest to you, but hey, just watch it on the replay, and we'll also be happy to hear from you if you're watching this on the replay. So don't be afraid to join in as we're going along. So scheduling tools. Now, why would you even bother with a scheduling tool? Well, the reality is that scheduling tools actually help you plan your work. You can map out a month, a week. Some people even map out 6 months and a year. I don't know how they do it, but they do it. And having that ability to see it on a calendar mapped out, you can see your frequency. So if there's any gaps that you've missed, you get a bit of an idea of what you're delivering. So if you've got a campaign, you can actually map out that campaign over a period of time. A lot of the scheduling tools now are actually working with stories as well. So you can combine your scheduling with not only posts, but also with stories that then support. Now, if you're not familiar with stories are those things that sit at the top of your feed. So if you're on your mobile phone, it's usually the first thing you see on Facebook and on Instagram. And they're becoming rather popular little tools strategically to grab people's attention. Not everyone always goes through the feed and scrolls down. Some of them just sit and watch the stories. And it's very similar practice to what people do with TikTok. They just sit and watch videos and, I'm not sure if they're really achieving much in the day, but they're definitely watching a fair bit there. So when we're thinking about a scheduling tool, it's really important to know what is it that you need from this tool. Is it purely to schedule content so that you know that you've done your pre-planning for your business and you've mapped out what you're going to drop into your feed over a week, 2 weeks, or even a month's time? Or is it around some of the data that you can collect from these platforms? So a lot of the third-party platforms are able to pull out analytical data that isn't quite available from Facebook itself. So weighing up what that option is. Now, for us, we have another need. It's really important that we're able to produce reports. So all of our clients that we work with on a social media basis they receive every month, they receive a detailed report from us outlining things like the engagement, the return on investment for their brand, what hashtags we use, what hashtags are doing well, what region the majority of the people following are from, what growth we had. So lots of different data that is a benefit for them to understand the types of client, but also the types of clients that we're attracting through the media that we're posting. So it's really important to kind of know where you want to go with your social media, especially now that there is so much happening. Now, I will say that there is a little bit of a caveat. If you are getting involved with stories, not all of the third-party platforms and even some of Facebook's data doesn't collect the information from stories. So it makes it hard when you're actually working for a client, or let's say you're a marketing person within a business. You want to be able to show the benefits of actually adding this extra layer of content into your feed. Sometimes it's hard to get that information. But not to worry, I'm going to start off with the first one. So the first platform that I really want to share with you, and it's probably the least obvious actually, and that is actually Facebook. So Facebook was the first platform that, when we started out doing posts, Facebook really didn't have the reporting tools or the ability to give you information about your content sharing. So when you're scheduling, at one stage, you couldn't even schedule on Facebook, and that was how crazy it is. But now the tool has developed so much that you now have your own planner. Now, this is in a section on Facebook called Business Suite. Now, if you've not heard of it or you don't have access to it, and I'm well aware that some accounts don't actually have access to the Business Suite, you need to actually prompt Facebook to give it to you. So, and this is for using only on your business accounts. So that must be set up as a business account on Facebook, and same on, well, actually, it's not on Instagram because you have to go through Facebook to use it for Instagram. The Business Suite is a place where you're given a series of tools to use. And these tools are now catching up to speed with some of the third-party platforms that you can use to scheduling. So if you're familiar with things like Hootsuite, Buffer, Later, these are all platforms that have been around for a while. And in time, smart move, Facebook has actually tried to catch up and now be competitive with these platforms. So now you no longer need to go off and pay for a third-party platform when you've actually got access to Facebook's own tools. Now, it is a smart move because Mark Zuckerberg is always trying to find ways to keep you on the platform. He doesn't want you to move away from the platform. And this is just another way to get you staying on the platform and integrating with his tools and getting familiar with your tools, because he wants to give you as much content so that you can grow your business so that you're not going off and paying for someone else, because he doesn't like it when other tools are coming in and using the platform. Now, the great thing about Facebook, its own planning and scheduling tools, and it's evolved quite a lot. One of the things that you can now do is you can post on Facebook and you can post on Instagram. But what's even better is you can actually change the content. So say, for example, you put one image up and you want it to go on both of your business pages. You want it to go on your Facebook page and on your Instagram. But you don't want the content to be the same. And you also want to put hashtags with your Instagram post. So you now have the ability to load the photo up, and then you can actually change the description individually to the two posts. Now, once upon a time, it was whatever you put up went on both platforms, and you couldn't change it at all. But now you have that ability to tailor the content and slightly add things if you want to do a little bit more or a little bit less. But what you can't do, and rightly so, it makes sense, you can't actually change the images. It just means that you just do another post, and instead of posting it to both Facebook and Instagram, you're just doing one post to Facebook with one image, and then you're doing another post to Instagram with a different type of image. So it allows you to control the content, which is great. And that's exactly the same as what these third-party platforms do. It also allows you to load up video, but I personally prefer to use tools such as Creative Studio, which is another tool from Facebook, and it allows you to schedule your videos as well as your stories too. And that as well is another planning tool, but we're not going to go into Creative Studio because people aren't as familiar with Creative Studio as they are with the Business Suite. The other great thing about the Business Suite, besides the fact that it's free, is the ability to go in. You can map out your period of time that you're going to load your content for, but you can also go back and you can look in a stream of how it would look sitting on your Facebook feed or also on your Instagram feed. And then you can go back and edit it. So you can look at what you've published previously, and you can go back in and look at what you've posted for the future. There was a while there that you couldn't actually make any changes to those posts, and this is another cool feature that Facebook has done, and they've updated their Business Suite, is that if you did do a scheduled post, it wouldn't allow you to go back in and change it. So last year they actually amended that. So now you can go back in and change it. So for example, if you schedule something and you go, you know what, there's a spelling mistake, you can now go back into it. But the great thing is that if you do schedule something and something better pops up, then you can go in and you can actually reschedule it for another time. So, but when we're comparing free tools such as Business Suite to tools such as other tools that are paid, there are some things that you don't necessarily get with Business Suite. And it comes down to that reporting. And the reporting is really important if you are an analytical type of person, or you've got to write a monthly report for your board or for your manager or whoever it may be, or if you just like to keep track of how your Facebook and Instagram is performing. Facebook allows you access to its insights, and that's great. It's very limited insights, and it only allows you to pull data from 28 days. So if you're looking at a full month, you actually miss some of that data, and it becomes an incomplete month for you. You can actually narrow it down and customize it, but it doesn't give you that depth of analytics that you may want to have access to if you're wanting to compare how, say, one period of posting versus another, or you want to go back over 6 months and see what the track record was for your growth of followers. So there are some limitations. So if you don't need the heavy lifting, Business Suite is actually a really powerful tool, and we highly recommend you use it. And if you haven't used it and you've gone straight to a paying, maybe come back and have a look at it, because it is constantly evolving. Now, not only can you schedule and load posts, do stories, you can do some reporting, but you can also manage your ads from here. So it's really important to just have a look at this platform before you go racing off and paying for something. Now, for us here, we actually work with a paid platform, and that's really because of the analytics that we can pull out of it, but also for the fact that we want to use a paid platform to provide reporting to people. And that platform that we use is Agora Pulse, and Agora Pulse enables us to have multiple people working on the one account without them actually having access to our admin. So they're not actually listed as a business admin on our account. There's one primary user that gives them access to the Facebook page. So for example, my team are able to load content onto a client's Facebook page and schedule it, but they don't actually have access to the admin rights to that business page. So it means that if they leave my business, then they no longer have access to that actual business account. So it's one of those security things, and it adds in that security for people when we're working with them. And it may actually work if you're a business owner and you don't want your staff having direct access to your Facebook page as an admin. You can use a paid platform that they then log into that you're also a member of, because your authority as the admin owner gives them access, but they will never actually have access of Facebook itself. So it does create some levels of security if you prefer that. But the other great thing with paid platforms is that it does give you that additional analytical data, also from an organic point of view, but right through to a paid. And depending on what you want to get out of it, and I know that we probably only scratch the surface of our membership with Agora Pulse. There's so much more that you can get from it. But the fact that we're able to get out of it what we need to be able to fulfill our clients it's amazing. But if you are interested in having a look at it, go to Agora Pulse, and I'll make sure I pop it into the feed. Now, the last one I want to share with you, because I only wanted to touch on 3. So the first one being Facebook as a free platform and a really good platform. The second one being a paid platform. Now, Agora Pulse is on the higher end of platforms. There are platforms like Buffer, which are quite cheap and affordable for business owners. It allows you to lay it out really nice, and it's a nice platform. And then there's platforms like Later, similar. Later has a little bit more functionality and features to it, and gives you that reporting capability, where Buffer gives you the reporting, but only really at a higher premium level versus the free and the cheap version that it's got. So I would recommend those as 2 alternative options. There are some amazing new platforms coming out though. One called Napoleon Cat, and it's data and analytics around stories and TikTok. If you're on the TikTok platform, is amazing and is definitely well worth having a look at. So that's Napoleon Cat, and it's a social media management platform as well. But the last one I want to share with you, and this one was a little bit of a surprise to me and a bit of a game changer, and I'm only starting to play with it. Now, most of you that do social media for your businesses or for anyone else, you've all heard of Canva, right? Everyone's heard of Canva. But if you haven't heard of Canva, Canva is like that platform for non-graphic designers to be able to design things really easy, super easy interface, and it basically turns everyone into a graphic designer. Now, if you're on the premium platform of Canva, this platform has a planning tool in it. Now, I didn't realize this until recently. So it's just like a third-party platform. You're able to connect to multiple Facebook pages if you have more than one. And some businesses do have more than one. Or if you're a content creator, you have also got access to more than one page. Canva allows you to connect to Facebook and choose which platforms you want Canva to have access to. Now, this also opens it up to Instagram as well. From here, you can design a tile or a Facebook post or an Instagram post. And then when you go to, instead of download it, you can straight away schedule it into your Facebook. Now, it'll ask you where do you want to send it, and then from there, it will put it into your planner. Now, Canva has its own little planner, which I recently discovered, and you go in and it looks exactly the same as what it looks like on Business Suite or on other platforms like Buffer and Later. It's all very similar. It's just a calendar view, and it shows on that calendar the tile that you created for your post and the content that you wrote for it. And then you can do exactly the same as what you do with Facebook. You can move it around if you want to change the day. You can edit it. You can go back in and continue to play with the design because if you're not happy of it. And so this is a really powerful tool. What this does do is it allows you to eliminate another platform. So if you're using Canva and Canva's your real go-to, now you have this ability to use Canva as your scheduling tool as well. And it lays it all out for you, and it's in a real simple format, and you're already familiar with the platform because you're using it for your design. Why not use it for your planning tool? So that actually is my hot tip for today is if you are going to look at a scheduling tool and Facebook is not for you, you want a little bit more grunt or you want something slightly different, definitely go and check out some of the platforms that are not as expensive, like your Buffer, your Later. If you're looking for something with heavy lifting, or definitely is looking at TikTok, because not all platforms are doing TikTok, definitely go and check out Napoleon's Cat. It sounds really weird, but go check out Napoleon's Cat because it is actually a really good platform. It is pricey, and all of these things are priced in American dollars. But if you're on Canva, definitely give Canva planning scheduling tools a go. It will help you lay it out. It's visual. It's really easy to use. You just need to have access to those Facebook pages to access it, and then off you go, and then you're on your way with a new scheduling tool. Now, one thing to note is that when you do use a third-party scheduling tool, it doesn't move it into Facebook. So if other people are on the Facebook page and want to see what you're posting, they must have access to this scheduling tool, whether that be Later, Buffer, Canva. They must have access to it. Otherwise, they won't be able to see what's going on. It just won't put it into the preview for scheduling in Facebook. Right. That is what I'm going to leave you with today, people. Just remember, scheduling tools are there to be helpful. They're your friend. They're to make life easy. It's meant to help you plan. It's also meant to help you stop repeating your content, because then you're going to be able to see what you've been posting. And it just overall helps you keep those business goals of making sure that you're ensuring that your frequency is there, and also that your content is definitely on spot with your brand, because you'll be able to visually see it as kind of like a map of a calendar when you see all your posts lit up. I love scheduling. I will admit that sometimes I'm not fantastic at it, but we all have our weaknesses. So hopefully it's not one of yours. So if this was of use to you, please like, share. If you have anything else that you'd like us to talk about, please drop us a line. We love it when you reach out and ask questions. We also love it when you reach out and ask us to talk about a particular topic. We've had a few in the past, and we've got a few really good topics lined up into the future just to really help you keep your business on track from a marketing point of view. But this was just a little impromptu, let's have a conversation about these scheduling tools and keep you guys up to date with what's changing. But until next week, have a great week, stay safe, and we'll see you next time, team. Don't forget to follow. Bye.